Hello again, my name's Gabe Zolma. What did I hear? I know. I caught a little bit of Fox News. And the talking heads were talking about Ferguson, Missouri. And they said that they wanted to get a consensus from the guests as to whether or not they thought that what the Department of Justice did was to benefit or to hinder the investigation. And that's in reference to the surveillance tape of Michael Brown boosting the cigars and a carton of cigarettes. Removing without paying and trying to throttle the little store owner. And the general consensus is that they were doing it to incite the African American people, the citizens of surrounding Ferguson, Missouri. Now, what's interesting is that a new witness has come forward. You know, we already know Dorian Johnson's testimony, which was, he was running away. He had his hands up like this. They were shooting at him. Bang, 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 bang. That was his version. And if you watch some of my previous videos, I suggested that, I stated that he needs to be taken to a polygraph piece of equipment and, determine as to whether half of what he's saying is real or not. And based on his own criminal record, I sort of doubt that it is real. Well, here's something else that you may or may not be aware of. A couple of witnesses come forward, and their testimony is in direct opposition. Their testimony is that Michael Brown, a 6'4", 285-pound guy, charged the police officer. And the police officer did what you would do, did what I would do. He went bang, bang. That is what supposedly happened. We also heard that the Department of Justice, Eric H. Holder Jr., the less than honorable Attorney General Eric H. Holder, well, what he did is he's ordered a federal autopsy. And they just don't want to believe that the version that they want to spin can't be proven. And they're doing everything that they possibly can to prove it. Now, do you think we've got a administration that's out of control? I'm sort of inclined to think we have an administration that's out of control, and they've been out of control ever since the usurper stole the Oval Office. It's one phony scandal after another. It's totally insane, folks. You know what should happen? The injured parties, those folks that had their businesses destroyed, and that one individual that was shot, if he survives, they should all sue the federal government. Because what the federal government was apparently doing is they were sprinkling gasoline on the flames. Actually, it was more than sprinkling. I think they were using like a fire hose. They've tried to do this countless times. And I've made mention of this in countless videos. They tried to do this with Fast and Furious. That program was designed to result in what it resulted in Mexico, the death of hundreds and thousands of innocent people. And Obama would have got, hey, we can't let this happen here in the United States. No. What we got to do is we got to take away your Second Amendment rights. Well, when that fell apart, they went to Plan B, Sandy Hook. When that fell apart, they talked about that shooting in D.C. Where the guy went nuts at the Navy Yards? It's an endless series of crimes to distract, divert, to deceive. It doesn't end. And what's amazing is that they can never achieve their objective. They haven't yet anyway, because they're constantly screwing up. It's unbelievable. All these phony scandals. And yet he's allowed, he meaning, the guy at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, he's allowed to continue destroying the American way of life. It's unfathomable. That's what it is. What will come of this investigation? We'll see. I don't think that Officer Darren Wilson did anything you wouldn't do or anything I wouldn't do if the testimonies that are now coming forward where Michael Brown charged the police officer. We're talking about a 285-pound, 6'4" monster coming at you. What would you do? Probably the same thing that Officer Dorian Wilson did. He emptied his service revolver at this raging, somewhat out of control individual. All these lawsuits, hiring all these expert witnesses, Dr. Michael Baden, none of it is going to produce the results that it appears that the Brown family wants. You know who's to blame for this? You know who's ultimately to blame for this? The Brown family. They raised this kid who seemed to have been, well, according to this stuff, the sighting stuff, he seemed to have been closely associated, if not participated directly, in gangs. So the blame ultimately falls on the Browns. They might not like to hear that, but that's what it appears to be. Let me know what you think. I sort of told you what I think.